Morning. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for some medicine. Today's prescription comes from Proverbs chapter 18, verse 16. And it says, a person's gift opens doors for him and brings him before the great. A person's gift opens a door for him and brings him before the great, before the gift. When you hear this scripture, and oftentimes in the Christendom, this scripture is used pertaining to the gifts, the talents that we have, that we've been given by God. And I'm not knocking how it's looked at that. If in God, the gifts that we have does open doors. But this morning, I want to look at it from this perspective. Because even when looking at it from the perspective of our gifts, our talents, our skills, or our abilities, oftentimes the gift becomes about us. It's about what the gift would give me. It's about what it can do for me. It will open up doors for me. It would do this for me. It would do that for me. And even in our gifting and our skills and our abilities, we can become selfish. Where the only person that we think about pertaining to our gifts is the edification and elevation of self, me, myself, and I. And that's the mentality that I want to discuss today for our morning medicine. This servant of self rather than being the servant of others. This mentality has plagued where we become consumers. It's all about what can somebody do for me? Even when we go into churches, we look at churches and say, okay, what ministries do they have that can satisfy me? Everything that we do, it seems to be circled around, centered in me. It seems to be the subject of the one being pleased is us. Why is that? The reason why I utilize this scripture today is for us to understand, what if the gift is not for you? What if we have the approach that the gift is not for us, it's for somebody else? Even when you think about this scripture, a person's gift opens the door for him. And I want you to think about it as a monetary gift. And it says this gift, right, will open the door for them. It brings them before the great. If you bring a gift for somebody, it opens a door for you and it'll have you be amongst the great. But the key part that I want us to focus on is this person bringing the gift. And I want you to think of this gift today as not a manipulation, but as in appreciation. Appreciation, what God has bestowed onto me, let me be a blessing to others. Bringing the gift symbolically, when you think about giving a gift to somebody, it's about blessing them before even blessing me. The gift was given first, and then the blessing for me became second. You see that order of things? The mentality was for me to be a blessing unto others, then that in itself will be a blessing unto me. And I want us to get this mentality as we approach today. What is your approach when you enter into today? Is it all about what can others do for me? Or do we approach today as what can we do for them? I want us to really think about that because Jesus said this. He said, the greatest amongst you shall be servants. In other words, a servant is deemed or sought after. I even say this, a servant is praised by how they serve others. And he said, the greatest amongst ye shall be servants, displaying the mentality and the attitude of a believer should be from a servant's heart. A servant is not praised by what they do for themselves, but a servant is praised by how they serve others. It's not about serving me, but it's about me serving them. What if we approach each day with that mentality? What if we approach each day with the blessing that we can give somebody else? What if we approach the day is not about me being served, but how can I serve another? And I'm saying for this morning medicine, can that be our mentality? Because oftentimes we have the mentality, it's all about me. It's all about me, myself, and I. What if the blessing is in serving others? What if I start looking at it and understanding that the door won't be open until I get the right attitude? And if I have the right attitude to be a blessing to others, what door could not be open? Because I have the character that's needed. Because oftentimes of elevation, when it becomes about us, our head just get bigger and bigger, and eventually it will only explode. But when I have the mentality to serve others, the higher I go up, the lower I go. Because I have an understanding that it's not about me. It's not about what can I receive from it, but it's about what can I give to others. What if you approach your job today? The Lord has blessed you, bestowed upon you gifts. Lord has given you life and more abundantly. What if you approach today, rather be at your job, rather be whatever you're going into? Lord, how could I serve someone today? How could I be a blessing to someone today? I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what the circumstances are. Lord, how can we bless someone today? How can I utilize my gift that others may be blessed? Not that doors may open for me, but how can I open up doors for them? What if I change the mentality of how I approach a job? It's not about the money, but it's about God. Where could I better serve? What if that was our mentality? Man, what could this job do for me? No, 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 no. Lord, what job would you have me to have that I could be the greatest of servant to others? Lord, how could I open up doors for others? What if that was the mentality? What if that was the approach? I remember when Abraham and Lot, and God told Abraham to choose the land and wherever you go. And Abraham having this conversation with Lot, he told Lot, he said, Lot, no, you choose. I want to bless you. You choose. And I always think about that of how Abraham, he saw these two areas that he could go. Him and Lot was together, and he knew that it was time for them to go their own ways. But he said, Lot, you choose. And I was like, man, he had the luscious land green, and then he had the other area that was dry. And of course, Lot chose the green, the green land that looked plush and prosperous. But for Abraham to give him that choice, and I see that as Abraham blessing Lot, that I want you to be blessed. So wherever you think first for you, he was thinking about Lot before he even thought about himself. And when you continue to read that, God ended up where Abraham went, it became even better. And I believe because his mentality was of servant of others before he served himself. How could I bless Lot before I even blessing myself? And I'm just saying for this morning medicine, what's our mentalities today? When it comes to your marriage, do you think about how could I be a better servant to my spouse? How could I be better of a servant to my job? And whatever vocation, wherever God have me, how could I be better of service to them? How could I be better servant to my church, to the fellowship that God has allowed me to connect myself with? And it doesn't matter about the circumstance. It doesn't matter about the situation. The question is not so much what can they do for us, but Lord, what could I do for them? Yeah, Lord, look at how they're acting. Look at how they're doing this and that. But Lord, how could I be of greater service unto you for them? This is your morning medicine. It's not about serving us, but we have considered first, how could we better be a better servant to them? God bless.